Alex Carter leaned back in his chair, staring at the starfield outside the window of the human research ship Horizon. The galaxy stretched before him, endless and full of possibilities, yet he could not shake the nagging question that had haunted him since humanity first began exploring the stars. Why did every alien race feel the need to build ships that were stupidly big? The question had started as a joke among the crew, something to lighten long hours, but it had grown into a serious observation. Ships larger than planets, bristling with weapons and engines, dominated the systems they entered, and yet for all their size they seemed slow, cumbersome, and inflexible. Beside him, Lisa Brown typed data into the console, her fingers moving with speed and precision. Lisa had always been fascinated by alien engineering, and she had a keen mind for numbers and design. She glanced at Alex, sensing his thoughts. "You're still thinking about the size thing, aren't you?" she asked. Alex nodded. "I can't help it, it just doesn't make sense. They put all this energy and resources into making these massive ships, but they can't maneuver well, they take forever to repair, and they're easy to target if you know what you're doing." Ben Miller, standing near the communication panel, laughed softly. "Humans just see things differently. We don't need huge ships to feel strong. Look at our fleet. Compact, efficient, and fast. We adapt quickly. That's our advantage." The Horizon had been traveling through the Gamma sector for weeks, observing alien systems and collecting intelligence. The crew had seen the construction yards of multiple species, witnessing dreadnoughts being built over decades. The sheer scale was staggering. The ships were massive enough to house entire cities, with multiple layers of weapons, engines, and living quarters. Yet in all that space, efficiency was often lost. Every system seemed slow to respond, and changes in the battle line took hours to implement. Alex thought back to the first encounter with the Korthan fleet, a species known for building ships that could swallow moons. The Korthan commander, a tall, green-skinned alien with 4 eyes, had laughed when the Horizon arrived with its small, sleek hull. "You call that a warship?" he had asked. "How do you expect to survive with so little firepower?" Alex had not answered directly. He had simply maneuvered the Horizon into position, launching a series of drills and simulations that demonstrated agility, precision targeting, and defensive maneuvers. By the end of the exercise, the Korthan officers were visibly shaken. Their massive vessels had been unable to keep pace with the small human ship, and their systems struggled to adapt. This was not the first time humans had turned heads with their unconventional approach. Previous missions had shown the same pattern. Alien fleets assumed strength was in size and firepower, while humans emphasized strategy, coordination, and adaptability. The result was consistently effective. Humans were not the largest, nor the most heavily armed, yet they were often the most capable in battle. Alex leaned forward, tapping his fingers against the console. "It's almost like we're the first species in this galaxy to think logically about war. Everyone else just piles on more metal and weapons, hoping bigger means stronger, but it doesn't work that way." Lisa nodded. "We've always valued efficiency. Our history is full of examples where small, well-coordinated groups succeed where larger armies fail. It's the same in space." Ben chuckled. "I still remember my first briefing. I thought it was funny that our ships were considered tiny jokes by alien diplomats, but when they saw what we could do, their reactions were priceless." They couldn't believe their eyes. As the Horizon drifted deeper into the sector, the crew received signals from a nearby trade hub. The station, operated by a conglomerate of different species, had requested assistance in analyzing a new alien vessel under construction. It was a rare opportunity to observe one of the largest ships built in the last century. Upon arrival, the crew was escorted through observation decks and corridors, each level revealing layers upon layers of construction. The vessel, named the Titan Leviathan by its creators, was immense. Engines the size of small cities lined the rear, while weapons arrays stretched along its sides. Living quarters and command centers were scattered throughout, with vast corridors that seemed endless. The sheer scale was almost incomprehensible. Alex, Lisa, and Ben walked together, taking in the magnitude. "Look at this," Lisa whispered. "So much space dedicated to redundancy, safety, and storage, yet movement is restricted. Every decision here takes time. In a fight, that's dangerous. Ben added, and look at the crew. It would take thousands just to operate the systems. Each officer focuses on a small part of the ship, and communication delays can cause errors. Humans can do this with a fraction of the personnel. The three discussed tactics quietly, analyzing how a human ship could interact with such a behemoth. Their minds raced with simulations, considering speed, positioning, and vulnerabilities. Each idea reaffirmed their belief in smaller, smarter ships. A single human vessel could exploit weaknesses that massive ships ignored. Later in the mess hall, the conversation shifted to broader philosophical questions. Alex mused aloud. Why does the galaxy cling to size? Is it a cultural thing, or is it just fear? Maybe they think that by building huge ships, they can intimidate others into submission. Lisa added, it's partly that. But also, big ships are seen as status symbols. If your ship is bigger than mine, it shows power and wealth. Humans, on the other hand, measure power differently. Our ships are tools, not monuments, Ben nodded. And that's why we have an edge. When others focus on appearances and assumptions, we focus on results, speed, flexibility, efficiency. That's what counts in real situations. The Horizon's sensors picked up activity in a nearby sector. A group of alien scouts was approaching, flying in massive formations. The crew prepared for observation. The scouts' vessels were smaller than the Leviathan, but still enormous compared to human ships. Their formation was rigid, predictable. The Horizon, with its nimble design, could easily weave through the patterns, studying weaknesses without risk. Alex leaned over the console. This is exactly why size isn't everything. Watch how their coordination breaks down when we introduce variables. They can't adapt quickly. Humans, on the other hand, thrive in changing conditions. As the scouts moved closer, the Horizon's crew launched a series of simulations, sending electronic pulses, feints, and maneuvers. The alien vessels responded sluggishly, their massive size making rapid repositioning impossible. The crew watched in quiet satisfaction, knowing that their principles of design, compactness, adaptability, and efficiency were being proven once again. The day ended with reflections. The crew gathered on the observation deck, staring at the alien ships fading into the distance. Alex spoke softly, almost to himself. I wonder how long it will take the rest of the galaxy to realize that bigger isn't always better. Maybe one day they'll see what humans have understood all along, that it's not the size of the ship that matters, but the mind and skill of the crew inside. Lisa placed a hand on his shoulder. We're showing them in our own way, not through destruction, but through example. Our ships, our tactics, our choices. That's more powerful than any giant vessel. Ben smiled, looking out at the stars. And when they finally understand, it'll change everything. The galaxy will have to rethink what strength really means. The Horizon continued its journey, small and sleek, weaving through the stars with quiet confidence. Humanity's approach was simple, yet revolutionary. While others clung to monuments in space, humans focused on what truly mattered: intelligence, adaptability, and the courage to do things differently. As the crew prepared for the next mission, the lesson was clear. Size alone was a myth, and humanity was ready to prove it. The Horizon moved steadily through the Gamma sector, its sleek hull reflecting distant starlight. Alex Carter and Lisa Brown sat in the navigation room, reviewing the latest reports from the scouts. The human crew had spent weeks studying alien construction techniques, fleet formations, and communication protocols. Each report reaffirmed the crew's belief. Massive ships were more of a burden than an advantage. While they could deliver enormous firepower, their lack of agility, slow response time, and complexity made them predictable and vulnerable. Ben Miller entered, carrying a stack of fresh data pads. I've compiled the movement patterns of the Quarthan and the drowned fleets, he said. Their massive ships are impressive, but their coordination is rigid. Any change in strategy throws them off balance. Alex leaned over the data. That's exactly what I wanted. We need to understand how they react under pressure, not just in routine maneuvers. If we ever face them directly, we have to exploit these weaknesses. Lisa pointed to the holographic projection. Look at the formation shifts. It takes them hours to adjust. Humans can do the same in minutes. Even if we are smaller, we can outmaneuver them repeatedly. The the discussion was interrupted by a communication signal from the nearby trade hub. A new alien vessel, still under construction, had been detected leaving the shipyard prematurely. The station requested human analysis to determine potential risks. The Horizon changed course, heading toward the site. As they approached, the ship's sensors detected a massive shadow drifting in space. The vessel under construction was enormous, even by alien standards. Towers of weaponry and layers of armor stretched across the hull. Yet the readings revealed a concerning inefficiency. Internal systems were slow, and the engines required massive energy inputs just to maintain minimal movement. Alex, Lisa, and Ben gathered in the operations room, watching the live feed. "This is incredible," Alex said. "Look at how much space is wasted in corridors and redundant systems. All that mass slows them down." Ben nodded. "And their crew requirements are huge. Thousands of personnel needed just to operate basic systems. Humans can accomplish the same with a fraction of the people and resources." The Horizon crew decided to run simulations, testing different scenarios for engagement with the alien vessel. They considered speed, positioning, and attack vectors, all while keeping the human fleet's size in mind. The simulations revealed the potential to disable key systems without risking large-scale damage. Small, precise maneuvers and electronic disruptions could neutralize threats that a larger, slower fleet could never counter efficiently. Hours passed as the crew worked tirelessly, plotting, calculating, and refining their strategies. Lisa pointed out subtle flaws in the alien vessel's construction. "See here. These engines are too close together. If one fails, the others are destabilized. Their weapons are mounted for maximum coverage, but the firing arcs overlap, creating blind spots." Alex added, "And the communications network is centralized. A single disruption can create confusion across the entire crew. Humans would exploit that instantly." The Horizon's journey continued, leading them to an asteroid belt where alien scouts had been reported. The scouts were smaller, more agile than the Leviathan, yet still far larger than a human ship. The Horizon maintained a safe distance, observing patterns, formations, and responses to unexpected variables. As the aliens navigated the belt, their massive size became a liability. Collisions with asteroids, delayed turns, and communication errors highlighted vulnerabilities. The human crew recorded everything meticulously, analyzing weaknesses for future scenarios. As night fell in the local star system, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Conversation flowed naturally, alternating between technical discussions and light-hearted banter. Alex reflected on the observations. "It's becoming clear. The galaxy is obsessed with size, thinking it equates to strength, but it doesn't. Efficiency, adaptability, and coordination matter more. Human ships prove that." Lisa nodded. "And it's not just combat, construction, maintenance, and logistics all benefit from smaller, smarter designs. Aliens are wasting resources building these massive monuments." Ben smiled. "And we get to watch them struggle. It's almost entertaining. They're proud of their size, but we have the advantage. Speed, flexibility, and quick decision-making. That's how humans dominate in situations where sheer mass fails." The Horizon then received an urgent alert. A Quarthan battle group was moving toward a strategic trade route. The group's vessels were enormous, dwarfing anything humans had encountered so far. The Horizon adjusted course, preparing for a real-time observation and data collection exercise. The crew prepared their equipment, reviewing protocols and potential scenarios. As the Quarthan vessels approached, the human crew noted every movement, every response to simulated threats, and every delay caused by their massive size. Alex whispered to Lisa, "This is exactly why we focus on size differently. They assume strength is in bulk, but it actually slows them down. Every decision, every adjustment takes too long. Humans can act faster with more precision." Lisa smiled. "And when the time comes, we can exploit that. We don't need giant guns. Just skill, coordination, and careful planning." Ben added, "Their confidence in size is their weakness. They can't see it yet, but they will. And when they do, it'll change the way the galaxy thinks about power." The Horizon watched as the alien fleet continued its slow, predictable advance. Simulations of possible engagements filled the screens, each demonstrating human advantage through speed, coordination, and tactical intelligence. The crew worked tirelessly, discussing, planning, and learning. The lessons were clear. Size was a liability, not an asset. As the day ended, the crew gathered on the observation deck, staring at the stars and the distant alien ships. Alex spoke softly. Humans may not have the biggest ships, but we have the smartest, and that's what matters. In a galaxy obsessed with size, thinking differently is our greatest weapon. Lisa placed a hand on his shoulder. And we'll keep showing them, not by brute force, but by proving the power of intelligence and strategy. One day, the galaxy will understand. The Horizon continued its mission, small, sleek, and highly capable, cutting through the stars with quiet confidence. The lesson of human design was clear. Agility, adaptability, and intelligence outweighed raw size. While other civilizations built monuments, humanity built tools that worked. The galaxy was beginning to see a new kind of strength, one that did not rely on the bulk of a ship, but on the minds and skill of those who commanded it. The Horizon drifted silently through the outer edge of the Gamma sector, its sensors scanning for activity. Alex Carter leaned over the main console, eyes sharp, watching the display of alien fleet movements. The Quarthan and Drown vessels were operating near a contested trade route, their massive hulls imposing yet cumbersome. The Horizon crew had been observing them for days, learning every detail of their operations. Despite the intimidating size of the alien ships, it was clear to Alex and his team that raw mass did not equate to strength or effectiveness. Beside him, Lisa Brown adjusted a series of dials, tracking engine outputs and sensor delays. She had calculated that even a minor misalignment in the alien vessels, engines could be exploited to gain positional advantage. Ben Miller reviewed their electronic warfare capabilities, making notes about how human systems could disrupt the centralized communications of the aliens without ever firing a shot. Alex spoke quietly, more to himself than anyone else. They move like monuments, slow and deliberate. Any sudden change would leave them exposed. Humans can respond instantly. That's our edge. The Horizon approached a cluster of asteroids where a Quarthan task force had taken up a defensive position. Alien ships, each larger than a small moon, were anchored in predictable patterns, creating a rigid formation. Sensors revealed blind spots between weapon arrays and structural redundancies that slowed overall maneuvering. Lisa highlighted the weak points on the holographic display. These areas are vulnerable to precision strikes. We don't need large numbers to neutralize them. A few well-placed attacks could disable their coordination entirely. Ben nodded. And the crew size alone is a liability. Thousands of personnel managing massive vessels means any disruption, whether electronic or tactical, creates confusion. Human ships thrive in chaos. We adapt. As the Horizon continued its observation, a sudden alert sounded. A Quarthan frigate had broken formation unexpectedly, signaling a malfunction. Alex seized the opportunity. Simulate a response. See how the rest of the fleet compensates. The crew ran scenarios in real time, projecting the ripple effect of the frigate's failure across the entire task force. The results were telling. The massive ships took hours to adjust, and minor gaps in formation became critical vulnerabilities. The Horizon's small size and agility allowed it to move through these gaps, gather intelligence, and test the fleet's responses without risk. Later, the crew discussed the broader implications. Alex turned to Lisa and Ben. This is why humans have succeeded in smaller engagements. Our ships are designed to be flexible, efficient, and responsive. While the galaxy obsesses over size, we focus on adaptability. Lisa smiled. It's not just about combat. Building, maintaining, and coordinating smaller ships saves resources and time. We can deploy forces quickly and adjust strategies in real time. Giants like these take decades to construct and are slow to repair. Ben added, and while they're impressive to look at, they're predictable. Humans don't have that problem. Intelligence and creativity trump raw bulk every time. The Horizon then detected a Drown fleet approaching the sector. Unlike the Quarthan ships, Drown vessels had layers of defensive shielding and multiple weapons decks, but their size still imposed severe limitations on maneuverability. The Horizon crew began tracking their formations, noting slow adjustments and overlapping firing arcs. Even their electronic countermeasures were slow to react. The Horizon, nimble and precise, could navigate between threats, gathering data and testing potential tactics without firing a single weapon. Alex considered a hypothetical engagement. If we were to face them, we could disable key systems and exploit blind spots without ever needing to match their size. The galaxy assumes bigger is stronger, but that's not true. We've seen it repeatedly. Lisa worked through simulations on the holographic display. Their central command hubs are vulnerable. A targeted electronic pulse could create confusion across their decks. Their weapons arrays are too spread out and overlapping fields create gaps. It's all about exploiting inefficiency. Ben leaned back, satisfied. It's ironic. They spend centuries building these massive ships, thinking they will dominate the stars. Humans with far smaller fleets can outthink them. Intelligence beats mass every time. As the Horizon continued its mission, a sudden commotion came from the distant trade station. Reports indicated a Quarthan dreadnought had suffered an internal malfunction, immobilizing a critical weapons array. The Horizon adjusted its sensors to observe the situation. The massive ship, despite its imposing size, struggled to maintain balance. Other vessels took hours to compensate, leaving the formation vulnerable. The Horizon crew studied the consequences, taking notes on delays, errors, and potential exploitation points. Alex whispered, "Every time they think their size gives them an advantage, it exposes them. Humans don't need to rely on overwhelming bulk. Speed, intelligence, and coordination are far more effective." Lisa nodded. "And our ships are designed for exactly that. We don't build monuments, we build tools that work." Ben grinned. "And that's why humanity keeps surprising the galaxy. Our approach is simple, yet revolutionary. Other species are trapped in the idea that bigger is stronger. We're not. We're smarter." Throughout the following days, the Horizon crew continued their observations. They noted repeated patterns of inefficiency among massive alien fleets. Rigid formations, delayed responses, and centralized communication hubs created opportunities for smaller, well-coordinated human ships to exploit weaknesses. Every simulation and observation reinforced the same conclusion. Size alone was a myth, and humanity's focus on adaptability and intelligence gave them a clear advantage. One evening, Alex, Lisa, and Ben gathered on the observation deck, watching the alien vessels moving slowly across the starfield. Alex spoke softly, almost to himself. "Humans may not have the largest ships, but we have the smartest, and that is what matters. The galaxy will learn eventually." Lisa added, "And we'll show them through action and example, not just words. Our ships prove it every day." Ben smiled. "And when the rest of the galaxy finally understands, it will change everything. Size won't be the measure of strength anymore. Human ingenuity will be the standard." The Horizon continued its mission, cutting through space with precision and confidence. Humans had proven that intelligence, adaptability, and careful planning were superior to bulk and showmanship. While others obsessed over the size of their ships, humanity focused on what truly mattered: skill, coordination, and the ability to think differently. The galaxy was beginning to take notice, and the Horizon crew knew that this was only the beginning of a fundamental shift in interstellar strategy and understanding. The Horizon sailed silently through the vast expanse of the Gamma sector, its sleek hull moving with quiet confidence. Alex Carter stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the distant stars and the reports coming in from sensors. The lessons of the previous weeks had become clear. The galaxy's obsession with massive ships was both a strength in appearance and a weakness in reality. Humans, with their smaller, smarter vessels, could navigate, adapt, and strike with precision in ways the giants could not. Beside Alex, Lisa Brown reviewed the latest scans of the alien fleets. Their massive dreadnoughts and battleships, impressive and intimidating, were still slow to respond to changes. Their crews relied on central command, extensive redundancies, and layered systems, but this rigidity made them predictable. Lisa pointed at the holographic projection. "Even the largest of these ships can be outmaneuvered. A focused strike on weak points, A small disruption in communication, and their efficiency collapses. Humans have the advantage in flexibility. Ben Miller joined them carrying a data pad with new analysis. We've confirmed patterns in every fleet we've observed. Size creates blind spots. Large vessels can't reposition quickly, and internal communication delays magnify errors. Our ships don't have those problems. We act fast, coordinate smoothly, and adapt instantly. Alex nodded. That's why our strategy works. Other species equate mass with strength. They think a huge ship is invincible. But when faced with a small, precise, and agile fleet, they struggle. Humans may be fewer, but we are more capable. The Horizon received a signal from a nearby trade system. Multiple alien species had gathered to discuss the arrival of a human fleet. The meeting was tense. Representatives of the Quarthan, Drown, and other civilizations were anxious. Humans, known for their unconventional approach, had arrived with smaller ships, but the efficiency and coordination of the fleet impressed everyone. Alex, Lisa, and Ben observed from a distance as the council debated. The other species assumed humans would be at a disadvantage due to size, but human tactics had already proven otherwise in prior engagements. As the council met, the Horizon crew reviewed scenarios of past missions, showing how small fleets could neutralize massive ships with strategic targeting, coordinated attacks, and flexible maneuvers. Every data point highlighted the superiority of intelligent design over brute mass. Alex explained to Lisa and Ben, they don't understand yet that raw size is a liability. Humans focus on outcomes, not appearances. That's the real power. Later, the Horizon moved closer to a contested area where the Quarthan and Drown fleets were stationed. The massive ships of both species were anchored near asteroid fields, creating a rigid defense. Sensors detected minor malfunctions and delayed responses across the fleets. So pointed out, even small human maneuvers could exploit these weaknesses. With coordination and timing, we could achieve results far beyond what our size would suggest. Ben agreed. And that's the lesson. We don't need giant guns. We don't need massive hulls. Humans rely on skill, strategy, and adaptability. While the galaxy obsesses over scale, we focus on intelligence. The Horizon's crew conducted further simulations, refining tactics that used minimal resources to maximum effect. Each exercise proved that precise strikes, electronic disruptions, and agile movements could disrupt massive fleets and force them into reactive positions. Alex reflected on the implications. Humanity has changed the way warfare can be understood. We show that size alone does not determine strength. Logic, speed, and strategy matter far more. As days passed, the Horizon continued its patrol, observing the movements and reactions of various alien fleets. Each encounter reinforced the same lesson. Massive ships were vulnerable due to their size and rigidity. Even with superior firepower, these vessels could be outmaneuvered, disrupted, and neutralized by smaller, well-coordinated forces. The Horizon's crew took detailed notes, preparing reports for human command that would inform future strategies. One evening, Alex, Lisa, and Ben stood on the observation deck, watching a distant Quarthan dreadnought maneuver slowly through space. Alex spoke softly, "This is what we've been proving all along. Humans may not have the biggest ships, but we have the smartest. We adapt, we coordinate, we strike efficiently. The galaxy is learning that real power isn't about bulk, it's about intelligence." Lisa nodded. "And that's the message humanity brings. Not through overwhelming size, but through understanding, planning, and execution. Our ships are not monuments. They are tools, and they work." Ben smiled, looking out at the stars. One day, the rest of the galaxy will see it. They'll realize that the obsession with size is a weakness. Humans will lead not by building bigger, but by thinking smarter. The Horizon continued its journey, moving gracefully through the starfield. Each mission, each observation, each simulation reinforced the principle that intelligence, adaptability, and coordination outweighed raw mass. While other civilizations measured strength by the size of their ships, humanity measured it by the effectiveness of their actions. Alex, Lisa, and Ben knew that their work was only the beginning. Humanity had shown that smaller, smarter ships could dominate where larger fleets failed. The galaxy was slowly understanding a new standard of power, one that relied not on the size of a vessel, but on the mind and skill of those who commanded it. As the horizon sailed on, it carried the quiet proof that size was not the ultimate measure of strength, and that humanity's approach to space and strategy was something the galaxy could not ignore.